It's in the locker room. Locker room's open.
I think, we came out at halftime. We wanted to try to keep it within 12 or so, and with about 10 minutes, try to go with full court pressure. And the full court press helped, and we got a steal or two, and then Tyler Lydon made a couple great plays in the back of it to stop them in a 2-on-1 situation, and we finally got our offense. We wanted to go to the basket. We finally were able to get to the basket, and I thought Malachi and Trevor made a couple great drives there, and then Tyler Lydon got a really good look at a three, and once we got the lead, we just wanted to play good defense, and we got a couple stops down there. It was a great comeback, one of the best I've coached in any team I've had, in terms of you're playing I think a great team. Virginia is beating us 15 points 3 straight times, and they were 15 points up today. They're a hard team to come back against, and these guys just made some unbelievable plays, and they deserve to win this game.
Just a reminder, please identify yourself when asking a question. Also identify to which student athlete your question is directed. We'll start in the front row on the left.
Dan Wolkin, USA Today, for Michael and for Jim. When you put the press on them and they start to speed up, they start to look for 2-on-1s. What do you see happening to them? And are they out of their comfort zone? Being that they typically are so deliberate.
No, I don't think so. I think they got what they wanted. They beat the press, and they had 2-on-1s. And I think one time Tyler made a great play, and then the other time he came over Gil, and Gil had to walk. It was just a couple plays down there, but they're certainly capable of playing at that speed when they get in the open court. But we wouldn't want to press them the whole game, because in reality they missed some plays that they would normally make. And if we press the whole game, they might miss a couple, but then they would start making layups and also get us in foul trouble. And we can't press for that long with 6 guys. So, no, I think that we were able to get just a couple plays, but the real key was we started to score. It really was more our offense finally got going. And Malachi had a couple monster threes, and then, the 2 freshmen made 3 threes, in the second half, and I thought that was really, we hadn't made anything. First half we were 1 for 9 from the 3, and a lot of that's their defense. We changed in halftime and stopped doing ball screens. We just started driving to the basket, and that simple, but it worked a little bit better.
Michael, you want to add your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Coach did a great job of explaining. The press definitely gave us life. I think it turned the game around, and we did a great job of just hustling and competing during the press.
Right here in the front.
Mike Waters, Syracuse Media Group. Jim, you put the press on with about 10 minutes to go, but did you talk to any of the team at halftime about it was going to come?
Yeah, we said we're going to wait. We're going to wait 5 or 6 possessions and try to get it to where it's 10 or 12. And, I think it was 14, which more than we wanted it to be when we started pressing. But we got a couple quick stops and a couple turnovers and got right back in it. And but we had prepared them that we're going to press, because we weren't going to cut a 15-point lead against Virginia down by playing half court. That would, the best we can hope for is lose the game by 6 or 7, if we play well. So we knew we would have to do it. And those are the games where they're good. They're good against. They know what they're doing. They attacked it. And if they hit a couple on those right away, it would have been a 20-point game. But you have to take the chance. It doesn't matter whether you lose by 7 or 20. It's still going home.
Go on the left side.
Jim, given the last 8 years for you, the last 2 years for you, does this feel any different than the others?
You know, it's great to go to the Final Four. I mean, it's great for this team because I only look at the basketball side. I mean, I thought we deserved to be in the tournament, but certainly I didn't. You know, I wasn't planning on getting to the Final Four. You know, we tell the players it's one game. You play one game, and if you can just win one game, you get another chance. And they've done that. And that we played good basketball until the first half tonight. We played really good basketball in this. The first half, we made just 2 mistakes, and it was one of them was all my fault. We were running too many ball screens, and we weren't getting to the basket. And the second thing is we didn't guard Parantes. And, you know, we had a freshman in there, and he's doing some good things, but he didn't get out and guard him, and you can't he's the one guy. You know, we wanted to stop Brogdon, and then when Brogdon started to miss a couple, we wanted to stop Parantes, and we just didn't do that in the first half. I mean, he got too open, and we had to correct that. And because we were so far down, we knew we were going to have to press at some point. But it's, you know, anytime you can go to the Final Four for these guys, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, I'm so happy for them. At Syracuse, this is about the players. I've been in this 40 years. I'm 71 years old. This is for them. I feel good when we win for them and for our fans. We have great fans, and for these guys. You know, I've seen enough things. I'm happy for them.
Go third row.
Paul Orn from IMG. Trevor, can you kind of touch on your thoughts on the one game at a time? I mean, when you get the bracket and you see this is the road we have to go on, how difficult or easy is it to kind of compartmentalize each round and not let the Final Four kind of get in your head right away?
I mean, it's easy to look at the bracket and look down the road, but, I mean, you have to take it one game at a time. And, I mean, Dayton was a really good team, and then we were matched up, and I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to take one game at a time, one possession at a time, and we did that, and we did that today too, and it paid off for us.
Right in the front row. On the left side.
Seth Goldberg from WJPZ. Trevor, you were a part of the team that made the Final Four. Mike, you were sitting out your transfer year. What's it mean for both of you guys to be able to have this opportunity to go back to the Final Four?
Trevor, you want to start?
It means a lot. I mean, a lot of things have to come into place to get to the Final Four, and I think we learned a lot. I think Mike and I learned a lot that year, and just how our team has to come together. And, I mean, I think now that we're leaders of this team, I think we're kind of teaching the young guys, and it's working for us.
Michael?
Yeah, it's just a great experience. You know, sitting out that redshirt year, I really wanted to be a part of that, and now I'm fortunate to actually be a part of it, and it just feels great.
Front row.
Mike Waters, Syracuse Media Group. For Jim and for Mike, have you ever seen a player hit a three-pointer with one shoe on like Tyler did there in the first half?
He's about the only guy that would even take it. But the ref was funny. He said, "I think he's a little better with his shoe off." But I've never seen that. I saw Mike take his shoe off once, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, I have a bad history with my shoes coming off in NCAA tournament games, but Lyden is the opposite of me, and he'll still have to keep his shoes on, though.
I think his defensive play tonight was huge. His 5 blocks. He had, I think, 6 the other night. What has he had? 6 twice in this tournament and 5 tonight. That's pretty good for a skinny guy that can't play center, or so everybody said.
Third row.
Coach, how did this group react to the outside noise of the bubble or any of that?
Well, you can ask them, but I don't think they did. I think they just kept playing. I think Mike did a great job in the games I was out. They had a very tough schedule. We lost the same games if I was coaching, probably. But it was a little, the first couple games they weren't quite, in my estimation, watching them play, they kind of didn't adjust quickly. And then they did. They played great at Miami, Pittsburgh, Clemson. They played great in those games. And, but to go 0-4 to start in the ACC, I'm not sure in the history how many teams have done that and I don't think anybody's ever gone to the Final Four that started 0-4 in a league, any league. I just think they deserve a lot of credit, and they should speak to, what they felt about the whole year. Mike.
Trevor, you want to comment on that?
I mean, this has been a very interesting year. I mean, we've obviously been through a lot, and this team has just stayed together. And I think we learned a lot about each other throughout the whole entire year, and all those things are paying off now. We're sticking together, we're believing in each other, and good things happen when you do that.
Yeah, I think as a team, collectively, we've been great teammates to one another, through all the highs and lows. I think it's finally starting to pay off. We got great chemistry on and off the court, and I think that's what it's all about.
I think you have to give credit to these two seniors. They're the guys. And even in a game like tonight, when Mike wasn't shooting well, he kept making plays. He kept getting in the lane and making plays for people and making great defensive plays on the other end. And we had 11 steals against Virginia, and only one of those really was full court press. I mean, the rest were just steals in a half court defense. And Trevor had 4. Not quite as good as the other night when he had 2.5 or 2 goes 3 in a minute. But those are tremendous plays. And but the two seniors, we have two freshmen, and we have a junior who hasn't played in 3 years. And these two guys have just been there every game. And when they don't shoot well, they do something else. They play defense, make a steal, and I just think they deserve a tremendous amount of credit because they've gotten these guys through this. It would have been very easy for that not to happen.
Go to the left side.
Jim, you called it one of the greatest comebacks, if not the greatest comeback. Is it because of the stakes, or is it because of the way the game just flipped at the time it did?
I think it's a little of both, obviously the stage, but I think it's also because you're playing Virginia, who's completely dominated us 3 times. I mean, let's face it. We actually played them best this year at their place. The other 2 times we played them, they dominated us, and we really played great against them. We didn't play that well tonight. Like, we played great. I watched the tape this week of how we played. We played great down there. I mean, we did, and they played great. They shot 56% at home to beat us, and so that I had a little hope based on that. But when we couldn't get anything going offensively tonight, it was not a good scenario. There was not much positive, but the thing you have to do in basketball, and I want these guys to do it, where you're at isn't important. It's where you get to. And you can be in a great situation, or you can be in an awful situation, and you can still you can still overcome that awful situation. And it didn't look like we would be able to tonight, but these guys they made hard plays. It's hard to press Virginia. It was really hard. It's hard to press Gonzaga, and they did that, and they willed this game. They made plays that you would think from a basketball perspective could not be made, and they made them, and they deserve all the credit in the world.
Go back on the right side.
Hey, Jeff. So you coached, obviously, Syracuse when the year that the Big East sent 3 teams to the Final Four. Does this conference, the ACC, even stronger? I know it's a different time, but
Well, they want me to say that, but I can't say that. I was in that league 30 years. If I'm in this league 30 years, then I may say that. But no, I mean this is a great league. There's no question about it. I knew when we came in this league, I said we're leaving a great league and we're going to get into a great league. This year and last year, really, it's been a great league. I mean, the facts are the facts. I mean, it's there. Most of the time, you're comparing. Well, they had a great year in their conference. They had a great year in their conference, and you really can't compare. You can't really say, well, we're better than them because you're not playing them every day. When you get in the tournament, you do have a measuring stick as to which leagues are the best. I mean, you can argue it a little bit, but in the long run, I mean, one team may get a little easier way, but another team might have a harder way to go. And the fact that we got 6 teams, in, and we got 4 teams to today, and we'll get 2 teams to Houston. I mean, we have a great league, and I think, in my opinion, that the league will get better in the future. I really do. I think there's programs that are on the upswing, and I think obviously the top teams, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be good, and I think the league will get better in time.
Go on the left side.
This is for Mike and Trevor. I guess, what do you attribute how you guys have stuck together for the last 2 years? Because it's a pretty easy thing to say, and I imagine it's a much harder thing to do.
Mike, you want to start?
Yeah, just being part of a team that you enjoy, everybody's company, it just makes it a fun environment to go to practice. We had stretches through the season where we couldn't buy a win, and through that whole session, no one was really getting on each other. Everybody was positive, and just as a teammate, when you have, especially me and Trev, doing things like that, it spreads on everybody. And I think we did a great job of just staying positive, and now everybody's happy and rolling.
Trevor?
Yeah, and everyone's just feeding off of that. I mean, Mike and I think we're good leaders, and I think we lead by example. And these guys are easy. It's easy to be a leader with these guys. I mean, talented guys and also good guys. We all hang out. We're all fun.
I think when a team can lose 13 times and they keep going, that's different than if you lose 4 or 5 and you keep going. You lose 13 times, it's not that. You got to have great leaders on the team to keep going, And even looking back in the beginning when we lost to the games that, I blew a game against Wisconsin that we should have won, and then we lose to St. John's and Georgetown, and start out the league the way we started. I think it's very hard for a team to get it back together and get through that, and these guys did it. I mean, I think that's something you have to really admire. It wasn't that we all of a sudden started playing that much better. We played about the same all year, except for those 2 games, the St. John's Georgetown game. We didn't play well, but other than that, in all of our losses, we were good. We were there. I mean, we had a reasonable chance to win all those games, and I think that gave us the idea that we could get going. And I think the Dayton game really, Dayton's a good team, and to dominate that game really, I think, gave us a little more belief. And then, the same thing with the Knicks game. And then, and once you get by that, every game's going to be a tough game like this. I mean, you're not going to have, it's going to come down to a play or 2 here or there. And they made them the other day, and then they made them again today.
We'll go to the 4th row.
Coach Malachi obviously scoring 17 in the final 10 minutes. So I guess what was said to him at halftime, and how impressed were you with how he responded?
Well, he's averaging probably 16 in the second half this year. I mean, not really, but he's done that a lot of times. And I think it's because I really don't start coaching him until then. This late second half, I start to, give him a little coaching skill. No, he's been that way. He's been a second half player. I mean, first half I took him out because he passed up a shot and he didn't mess around with the ball, and then he steps out of bounds. I mean, he was out of it. I think he was 1 for 6 or something at halftime. I mean, he needs to be aggressive. He needs to look for his shot. He can make big shots. He's made them all year. And then the big difference was he got to the basket. He got to the basket, and that was the thing that got him going, and I think got us going. The two freshmen were big in the second half tonight.
Got time for 2 more questions. Go on the back.
Nancy Armour, USA Today. This is for any or all 3 of you. Jim, you just said that it's tough for a team to get it back together when you've lost 13. But doing that, does that then make you guys stronger now that you've already gone through the toughest, that nothing phases you?
Well, I mean, I think we're a tough group. I think I just think I think my point is it's surprising to me that you can get through all that, and still be able to play at this level. That's I think a huge credit to these guys. I really do. I don't know how they feel about it. That's kind of what I look at.
Last one on the third row.
Mike, kind of along those lines, when you are 0-4 in the conference, what can you learn from that helps you when you're down 15 with 9.5 minutes left to go?
Win or loss, you can always learn from a game. And I think when we were 0-4, we could have competed harder. We could have been smarter offensively and defensively. And, you learn. We pressed in some of those games. We didn't have the turnaround like we did tonight, but you just get a feel for the game, and the more you keep trying, the better you get at it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Congratulations. Syracuse's locker room is open